congratulations to you both on the film. It had this wonderful sort of enigmatic quality to it, and there were times when I felt like you were all almost toying with the audience, and I really quite liked that. So Jan, I believe you created the story. Where did the idea come from originally?
Like all good stories, it started with a grey, grumpy, cold winter day that made me escape Berlin and fly to Fuerteventura for the first time. And once I arrived on the island, I was fascinated by the landscapes and the harsh contrast of landscapes and tourist architecture. And I started to feel the urge to come back one day and shoot a film there. And I also had an interesting encounter with the tennis coach who was a big inspiration for the film.
There is a feel of Hitchcock to it at times, and particularly with Stacy Martin, who's the archetypal Hitchcock blonde, really. She's so cool. Were you thinking of actually making a sort of genre movie, or did it just sort of work out that way?
Well, I was not planning to make a mystery noir, to be honest. Like at the very beginning, I think the movie was more like a drama to me, a drama about a washed up anti-hero. But it turned more and more into a noir, I think, because of the island itself as a mysterious place, and the husband that disappears, and out of sudden I was dealing with the possibility of a crime, and so it more and more turned into this film noir kind of movie.
So Sam, how much of what we've talked about attracted you to the film, and of course your role as the tennis coach?
Well, I also live in Berlin, and so I was aware of Jan-Ole's work, and when I read this script, these things also came to my mind. Patricia Highsmith, this Hitchcockian, the Antonioni stuff and everything, but it was just a brilliant character. I mean, it sounds silly, but it was the lead role as well. The whole story was told to him, and as an egomaniac, that also had a huge appeal to me.
You're hardly ever off the screen. In fact, I don't think you are, even when you're lying down,
no,
which you do a lot.
Which I love. That was my first experience with filmmaking. And I love being on set. I love being part of it. And, it's a beautiful, deliciously complex character. I felt I could, had I not made certain decisions or certain opportunities, or hadn't taken certain opportunities, which is a huge theme in the film, I felt like I could have been, I maybe would have been a singer in a hotel in Fuerteventura rather than a tennis coach, but it could have been a similar lifestyle.
And yet there's a lot in the film that isn't said. Now, for you as an actor to have your dialogue limited in that way, how much of a challenge was that for you?
It's funny, I've been asked that a few times, and it's much more of a challenge as an actor to deliver expositional dialogue. That's the sort of dialogue where you say things to friends for the benefit of an audience that you would never normally say. You have a friend in a wheelchair and you talk about his accident or something. You think, nobody ever talks like this. To feel things and to do it with looks and to not say, things particularly in this occasion, it's not that it's easier, but it's natural, it's human, and it's great fun. It's really a dream.
Jan, did you originally intend for it to be so lean as far as the dialogue was concerned, or was it something that got whittled down as you were actually making the film?
Yeah, I think because it was always meant to be a film about people and the question whether they can or cannot reveal to each other. So they don't express what's really going on, and they don't really talk about how they feel about each other and what they suspect. So it was always meant to be a film that is about the inner processes of the characters. I mean, there's this scene in the film where they talk about the volcanoes and the volcanic activities and whether they ever erupt. And I think the characters themselves, they're a little bit like these volcanoes, and there's
Just
something going on
simmering
underneath,
away,
but we
yeah.
never know whether they erupt or not. So it was always meant to be a movie where the characters don't express really what they feel.
And I believe when you made the film, it was peak holiday season and you were in a real hotel. So not only was it hot, it must have been fun and games for the holidaymakers and indeed the staff there. I mean, how did they react to you and what was going on around them?
I think in the beginning they were like a little bit worried if it would work out. Also, were we, like, because it was a hotel in full swing and people paid a lot of money to sit by the pool and enjoy the holiday and not being yelled at to be quiet because some film set is about to shoot a scene. But it became this beautiful melange of people who went there on a holiday and us as a film crew who were at work every day, and it worked out quite well. I think especially for you, because you were confused with a real tennis coach at one point.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
Did you actually get asked to give some lessons?
I did get asked.
And did you?
It would have been a bit unfair, I think. I mean, but it you know, as an actor, it was kind of like being in the Truman Show or something. I'd literally come out of the dressing room in my gear, and there'd be people in, you know, to pay that many extras to sit in those swimming costumes. You know, you wouldn't find anyone who'd do it.
So I'm wondering what that kind of says about your tennis, the fact that you were kind of reluctant to.
I didn't have time. It was rather a case of not having the time. It says a lot about the costume department. Who really did a great job.
So, so did you have to put in any extra practice or learn tennis to start with?
I absolutely, yes, I did a lot of learning tennis. You know, playing the washed-up middle-aged guy who never fully reached his potential was the easy part. The serve was the difficult part. But I had a wonderful teacher, Yaroslav, who did actually pay me the occasional compliment, but it would be, all he would say was clean. And I lived for these compliments during the 3 months.
Doesn't sound the greatest motivator, but it obviously
wasn't,
worked on you.
It worked. It's somehow worked.
That's what he said. Clean.
Yeah, if I had a good form and it went in, he'd just go clean.
Wow.
Can't say fairer than that.
No.
Thank you both very much for your time. It's been great to talk to you, and congratulations again on the film.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.